Okay, welcome back. Lessons 1 to 6, cumulative review. Students in my live class will use this as a test prep, and students on iTunes U, I'd like you to go through this video with me, grade yourself, and then if you find yourself understanding each question, you're ready to move on to the self-assessment that's on iTunes U. And like I said, if you get 80% of the questions correct or more on the self-assessment, then you've demonstrated that you're ready to move on basically to the next post. So I'm going to assume that you've been through the guided notes, and I'm going to kind of move through this with some ease and some speed, not a whole lot of commentary, as if I'm taking a test. And you'll just see it done in real time. And you can kind of check yourself. All right, so we have a hint here, simplify the numerator and denominator separately. So I'm actually just going to kind of rewrite the problem. And then I might even kind of note to self here, numerator, clean up the numerator. So inside the parentheses first, 7 minus 4 is 3. And then 4 times 3 is 12 plus 2. So basically the numerator is going to lead me to 14. So kind of maybe even just mental map that out. Numerator is going to lead me to 14. Denominator is going to lead me to, well, 2 squared is 4. And 4 minus 2 is 2. So then 14 over 2 is 7. Okay, I'm just going to keep moving right along because I'm assuming you've been through all the guided notes for these lessons and you're ready to just kind of move along with some speed. So find the area of the given square. We now know that when you're dealing with a square, an area is just side times side. So we know that we're looking at 15 times 15. We know that the units will be square miles. So we're looking at 225 miles squared. Now, if you need to go off on the margin, I did want to mention this, if you need to go off on the margin and physically multiply out 15 by 15, you could do that. Okay, like I said, I'm just going to keep cruising through problem by problem. Multiply without a calculator. So by the way, this whole, I wanted to mention that this entire review set is to be done without the use of a calculator. So we're really trying to just build our math sense without a calculator. So, okay, I'm going to rewrite the problem. 445 times 47. 5 times 7 is 35. Carry the 3. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 4 is 28 plus the 3. Then you put a 0 here as a placeholder, and then I'll just kind of highlight this in another color. Then you move in here. 5 times 4 is 20. Put the 0, carry the 2. 4 times 4 is 16. 18, carry the 1. 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 1 is 17. And let's record. Now what's really neat is in a lot of schools these days, they're teaching another method called lattice method for multiplication, where you kind of make this little rectangle, and I just wanted to show you it's a neat, cute way to kind of do your multiplication differently. And you see how I just kind of set up these little rectangles and put these sort of diagonals through each rectangle. And then you'll see me filling this in. 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16. It's just kind of a cute way to multiply. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 7, 35. 4 times 7, 28. 4 times 7, 28. And then I believe they call this, and you can Google the term if you're real interested, lattice method. Let's check this out. So this 5 here, you just record, and then you're actually going to look along here and add those numbers up. So 8 plus 3 is 11. Just put the 1 here, carry the 1, and then add all these numbers up right here. So 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 6, 16, 17, 18, 19. Carry the 1. 6 plus 2 is 8, 9, 10. Carry the 1. Aha! And then look, 20915. Either way, I'm getting 20915. Okay? So just kind of two neat ways to multiply. So I'm just going to write here option. All right. Number 4, it says, write the following phrase as a variable expression and use X to represent the number. The sum is a keyword for addition, of 20 and a number. Okay, the sum of 20 and a number added to the product of 15 and a number. Product is a keyword for multiply. So I could say 15 like dot x or times x, or I could just say 15x. Okay, so again, the sum of 20 and a number added to the product of 15 and the number. And we don't have to simplify that, we can leave it like that. Moving right along, number 5. This is, if it helps you, you can write the little mnemonic device. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Mnemonic device. It's just a memory device to help you remember the order of operations. And we will, multiplication dominates addition. So 7 times 9, 63. 8 times 3, 24. And then in the end you add. So you take care of multiplication before addition. So whatever 63 plus 24 may be. So we're arriving at 87. So these next two are just really quick auto response. Like I'm pretending I'm you taking a test. You should just look at these and know instinctively and by heart. So 0 divided by 6 is 0, but 5 divided by 0 is undefined. Division by 0 is undefined. Make sure you know the difference between those two. I always think if I have no money and I divide it among my 6 friends, they each get nothing. But if I have 5 people and I want to divide them into nothing, it just doesn't make sense. It's undefined. So even try if you do hit 5 divided by 0 on a calculator, it'll typically say error. So let's head to the next one. Evaluate the expression. I'm going to rewrite the expression, which is x plus 2y over z. And they're telling me that x is 13, y is 4, and z is 3. Some people say that's where we plug and chug, and that's true. You're literally going to take 13 and plug it in for x and do a rewrite, and take 4 and plug it in for y. And by the way, when you plug it in, I really encourage you to, put parentheses around your input. Take 3 and zoop, plug it right there. So it is a lot of plug and chug there. All right, now let's clean that up. Make sure you do order of ops though. Multiplication dominates. So 2 times 4 is 8. So you have a 13 plus 8 all over 3. So you have a 21 over 3, which is 7. Which means 21 divided by 3, which is 7. Okay? For number 9, keyword perimeter. Now you know that means add the sides. So let's just add it all up. 17 plus 8 plus 9 plus 16 plus another 16 plus 10. And I always just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure I got everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides. So it's a 6-sided figure. So let's just take a moment to add that up. Okay, so you can add that up whichever way you like, but I decided to kind of chunk it off, like 16 plus 16 plus 10, makes the 42. And I did 17 plus 8 is 25, so I kind of added it in bits. But eventually you should arrive at 76 centimeters for your final answer. Notice the units. Don't forget the big note to self, units, centimeters. So perimeter is plain old units. Earlier you saw area, that was units squared. Let's take a look at the next one. This one, keyword estimate. It doesn't say find the sum, it says estimate by rounding to the nearest hundred. So let's practice rounding. So count it out. Actually, I'll write it a little larger. 6141, 3353, and 3322. If I want to estimate, well, think about this. Ones, tens, hundreds. So if I'm going to round to the nearest hundred, just think about this. I go to this place. One, I look next to it, I see a 4. So I know that I'm not going to round up. I'm going to stay at 6100. So I'm going to keep the 1 at a 1, and this will turn into a 0. Let's play that again. Go to the 100 spot. 5 says I need to round up, so that's going to go to 3400. Here, there's a 2 beside it. I stay down at 3300. All right. So the estimate, 0, 0, 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 1 is 8. And we're looking about 12,800. But again, that's just an estimate. So that just means that if we were to really add those numbers, it better be in the same ballpark. Okay. Find the area and perimeter of this rectangle. So let's go for area first. We know area is length times width. So we know we're just going to take 4 times 2 to get 8. And the units are squared, so meters squared. And we know perimeter now means add up all the sides. So we know, in terms of writing it out, 4 plus 4, there's 4 sides, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4 plus 4, and opposite sides are equal, plus 2 plus 2. So that's going to lead us to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 meters. And notice the units. Plain old meters. All right. Now, if you're going through this, like I said, thinking, yeah, I'm getting all these right, and you're checking yourself, that means you're going to be ready to take the self-assessment that's on iTunes U and grade yourself. And my live students will be ready to take a test. Number 12, write the number in standard form, 1,686. I always say students that have English as a second language, this might not be an easy task. I mean, imagine writing a number in Spanish, you have to think about it. 1,686. It's kind of like if that was a check, how much is that? 1,686. So you just kind of have to think about that a moment. The comma will help you place. And 1,000, I mean, that tells you got to be in the thousandth spot. All right. Find the quotient. Quotient means divide of 83 and 4. Divide without a calculator. So, all right, 4 goes into 8 twice. Then we come back around and multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. Draw the line and subtract. Bring down the last guy. But 4 doesn't go into 3 because 3 is smaller. So 4 goes into 3, we could say 0 times. 0 times 4 is 0. Draw the line and subtract. And that's your remainder. So at this moment, we're just going to say 20 remainder 3. Later down the pike, we'll do, decimal or fraction conversion, but not now. So just 20 remainder 3. Okay, let's head to the next one. Average of the following list of numbers. So now you know that average just means add them all up. So I'm just going to write that out. Add them all up and divide by however many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'll hit pause as we do that. Okay, so hopefully you added all those numbers up top, even if you did it on scrap paper somewhere, but all those numbers up top should add up to 186 divided by 6. And since we're not using calculators, we can kind of go off on the side and perform that division. 6 goes into 18 3 times. 6 goes into itself once, no remainder. So this will come to be 31. So the average value is 31. Which makes sense because your lowest value is 20, your highest value is 47, so it seems reasonable. Okay, this one, it says to write this number in words. That's awkward because whoever writes a check for that amount of money. So just think about place value: ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, million, 10 million. So we're really, we know we're out in the million spot, right? So 84 million. Pretend you're writing a check, basically. That would be nice, huh? 84,548,000. I'm kind of running out of room there. 548,625. And notice my commas. Notice I don't say 625. I just say 625. All right. Hope that helps. So it's kind of awkward because, like I said, whoever writes a check for that much money, but it's good practice. Okay, off to the next one. Good old, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Again, I'm going to write that mnemonic device, which is just a cute way to help us remember the order of operations: parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. All right, so we have 2 squared times 6 minus 3. I'm just rewriting the problem. Plus 3 cubed plus 7 squared. I want to take care of my parentheses and my exponents before any of the rest of these operations. So I'll clean up inside these parentheses. 6 minus 3 is 3. I'm also going to clean up my exponents a while. So 2 squared is 4. 3 cubed means 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. And 7 squared means 7 times 7, which is 49. Okay, now I'm ready to take care of multiplication before any addition. So this dominates. So 4 times 3 is then 12. 12 plus 27 plus 49. And we can go ahead and grand total that up. All right, and that should bring us to 88. Like I said, order of operations is going to follow us through the entire course. By the end of the course, we want to be comfortable performing order operations on not just whole numbers, but on integers, on decimals, on fractions. So all kinds of good stuff will be to come. All right, and now we have evaluate the expression, another critical skill. So z minus x plus y. We're going to grab 4 and plug it in there for z. Plug 3 in for x, plug 1 in for y, and just crunch that out. 4 minus 3 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, and that one wasn't too bad. Number 18, and like I said, there's only 20 questions, so if this were a test, we're doing pretty well. Look at the time. Doing pretty well. This is just rounding, round to the nearest thousand. So I want to highlight something. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. You must go to the thousandth spot, look next to it, and since that number is below 5, then this stays at a 7, and everybody below it becomes a 0. So 17,000. And if you think about it, it makes sense because think about money. If you had $17,236, is that closer to $17,000 or is that closer to $18,000? So it makes sense. It's closer to $17,000. So if you always think about it sort of as money or monetary wise, it'll probably make more intuitive sense. All right, and we have another order of ops here, 4 plus 2 squared divided by 8 times 3 squared. Let's take care of the parentheses first. So we know 2 squared is 4. I'm actually just going to kind of force myself to keep writing that out. 4 plus 4 is then 8. Notice how I'm sort of forcing myself to record step by step. PEMDAS says, and here's where it becomes a little tricky, let's take care of our exponents first. So 8 divided by 8 times, and then 3 squared is 9. Now here's where it becomes, big note to self, tricky. People think PEMDAS and they think they're supposed to multiply before they divide. It doesn't mean that. You actually move left to right over those brother-sister operations, multiplication and division, the same level of dominance. So we're actually going to move left to right over multiplication and division. Really just means that you have to perform multiplication and division before addition and subtraction. So, okay, so 8 divided by 8 then is 1, and 1.9 or 1 times 9 is 9. That's it. All right, and last but not least is number 20, keyword difference, means subtract. So find the difference of 88 and 16. Well, main thing is that means subtract. And we're looking at 72. Okay, if you survived that, you might be ready to move on to your self-assessment. Good luck out there.